Hey, I'm Joseph Napier Sr. I'm out here at not the epicenter necessarily, but it's the damage that was caused by the tornado on July 5th, if you will, the day after 4th of July, after a day of celebration. I'm going to walk through the area and show some of the downfall, the trees, if you will, some of the damage that occurred on that day. It has not actually been cleaned up yet. When I walk through showing what looks like ground zero, but believe me, this is not ground zero, if you will, of what happened on that day. But it's a pretty good indication as the township continues to try to hustle and bustle and get all this mess cleaned up, if you will. July 5th, a tornado which touched on the ground between Boardman and Canfield areas only stayed on the ground briefly, but a macro burst left over after the tornado had did its thing. As it was lifting up, created a macro burst, if you will, as opposed to a micro burst. That's when you get a high intensity wind that comes through and does damage. And this is some of what happened on that day. The city has not come out yet, as you can see, and cleaned up a lot of what happened. I told somebody it kind of feels like I'm in Oz, as in the Wizard of Oz, that the Oz, if you will, in the movie, to where you walk through and you see a lot of what has happened here. Almost every single home, even a policeman's home there, as you can see, YSU style, is being recorded, have not really been rectified yet. The cleanup, if you will, continues. This neighborhood here, which I'm shooting, is Mill Creek Boulevard, if you will. It's right off of West Boulevard. Of course, we're in the township of Boardman now, but you can see a lot has not been rectified yet. The township is supposed to come through here. You can see some down wires as I pause right here. And as I go further down, deeper into the neighborhood, there again, Mill Creek Boulevard. This is representative of a lot of streets in Boardman. I thought I'd pick one street and leave the others alone just to let you get an idea of what happened on that day and how it affected literally everybody. There were very few people in this area that didn't receive damage, if you will. As you can see, the damage was pretty intense. People have cut down the trees, if you will, pruned the branches and stacked it on the roadside for the township to come through and do what's called a removal, if you will, of all this debris. And you can see pretty much the magnitude right here was the downing of a whole tree. This tree here probably was over a century old or close to it, but it got uprooted. You can see the root system right here, as you know, the tree has succumbed to the high winds, the microbursts. You can see the trunk right there literally ripped out of the ground. These are pretty sturdy trees. These were younger trees, weren't severely old. Some of them probably were old, as I speculated. But a lot of these, I'm looking at the timber, the wood, it's actually real fresh. I can continue to walk up this street, if you will, showing the damage, but it's pretty lengthy. I would be taking this road all the way to Route 224 to be exact. But I'm going to pan around and let you see where I've come from. This is one of the many streets in Boardman, Ohio, representative of what's happened. I'll dub this the aftermath effect, if you will, of all the trees pretty much here that have not been removed yet. And I don't know when the township will be able to get on the job, but it's an overwhelming job. I'm not picking on the township, if you will. They've hired a lot of private contractors to come out here to see if they could put a dent in what has happened here. I'm gonna walk back down this way, talk more about what happened on that day. This storm came out of what typically is a thunderstorm. A thunderstorm brews up, if you will, and then what happens out of thunderstorms, often tornadoes spawn, if you will, or born, I should say, out of thunderstorms. So when you see the thunderstorm warnings on your TV, your antenna, so to speak, should go up, as you should pay attention to the warnings given. We have tornado watches, we have tornado warnings. A lot of people don't know the difference between it, and I have to be honest, for a lot of years, I did not know the difference between, if you want us a landscaper headed off to a job there, I did not know the difference between a warning and a watch myself. But somebody broke it down to me. A warning is telling you it's coming down the street perhaps, or few blocks over or a mile away from your home, and a watch is literally looking for conditions that will often then spawn a tornado. So if I got that wrong, please flip it around for me, charge it to my head, not my heart. As I told you, I'm always, but when I see any of those W's appear on the screen, my attention span goes up 100%. And I'm starting to look for evidence, dark skies, thunderstorms, as I said earlier, and things like that that would indicate to me and warn me that a tornado possibly will happen. The valley was touched just the other day when a tornado rolled through the Hubbard area. I'll be furnishing photographs of what that tornado looked like. It never really reached full magnitude or any great stream capacity. Let me rotate around here and show you where I've come from there again. There's right there what happened in the background. This is tornado season. Tornadoes are not as bad as hurricanes, but any of those storms or weather fronts are bad, definitely bad. And you should take heed to the warnings and watches and pay attention to them. Modern cell phones will tone and give you a warning, tell you that we're in a thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch or warning. Modern devices such as we have, such as iPhones, if you will, smartphones, will do that. So when you hear that tone go out, usually what happens, you see that tone in all the rooms, literally. Yeah, right there. As you see, I'm making my way back to my car. As next, I'll be traveling down Route 224 to show a little bit else of what happened in these communities. But there again, I use this neighborhood as an example, just as an example. Beautiful area. I used to live on West Boulevard for around 8 years actually, growing up in Youngstown. So I've snaked my way through here a lot of times. Matter of fact, on the way to Myers, from West Boulevard here, I would make my way to Myers supermarket there, making a right on the Route 224. And I'm gonna go that area again. I wanna go up near Boardman Plaza, which is one of the, not the epicenter. See, when I say epicenter, I could say, like here, the grounds was ruined, and how a lot of the areas were damaged. Could you say epicenter? Epicenter generally, it pertains to where a lot of damage, or the most damage occurred, if you will. As you can see, the cars snaking from Shields Road, coming onto West Boulevard, and then on the Mill Creek Boulevard. Join me back here in a couple of minutes as I walk around the area of Boardman Plaza to show what some of the things happened on that particular date and time, if you will. So long for now. Here I am at Glenwood, as you saw the approach shot to Glenwood in Route 224. I want to show you some of the aftermath of the signs that were ripped off of roof portions, if you will. Let's see how well they cleaned up. Straight ahead is a former Rite Aid that sit right at the beginnings of Boardman Plaza from Glenwood going towards, if you will, West Boulevard. And I want to show you the area where the sign, the rather classic Boardman sign, once stood, but stands no more. It looked like they put up a temporary sign. So I'm going to come right over to where, if you will, some damage was done to Boardman Plaza. A long-standing plaza that goes way, way back to the early to mid-50s, if you will. The sign that once stood there is no longer, if you will. You can see a single column of steel or I-beam suspended there. That's where the Boardman sign was. I'll insert a picture showing how it twisted it got, and mangled it got, if you will. And there are other portions, if you will, of Route 224 down the strip. Of course, looking this way is towards Poland, and that's a cascade down Route 224 here towards Canfield, Ohio, if you will. And so more damage was done going down Route 224 that affected different areas of the plaza that day, July 5th, with a macroburst, as I said before. Very, very strong wind. It don't take long. It only takes a couple seconds for the wind, or if you will, Mother Nature, to do her dastardly deed, if you will. I'm going to swing around this way. We're going to see some of the other areas at Route 224 that was covered that day. Rite Aid sign is beside the glass. They probably even took the signage out when it no longer was Rite Aid. The building sits abandoned. So if anybody would like to lease or purchase that structure, it's available for sale. And as I look this way, more Route 224, you can see some of the other areas that were affected. I'm out here. Today's date is July 23rd. I'm kind of here way after the actual event, if you will. For I wanted to stay out of the way of, if you will, grounds crews and people out here who are going to be cutting down these trees. This was the epicenter, so to speak, where there was a lot of damage done. I'm trying to spot a new portion of roof that was replaced. There was a portion of roof, and I'll show that in the photograph too, that was ripped off and was literally on the ground. They may have reinstalled it, if you will, back on the roof. I want to get on the edge of Route 224 to let you see at any given time how many people can be affected, if you will, going from east to west here. And this is one of the main transitional points here in Mahoning County, the valley as a whole, rather, for shopping. As people come in this area from miles away to do shopping and stuff, to experience the strip malls, if you will, the southern part malls up the hill at Market Street or Route 7, if you will, and Route 224. So the mall is still there, active. And coming down this way towards Ollie's, you're going down towards Canfield as you go towards Giant Eagle Supermarket, which was purchased recently by the Kroger's chain. So within the next year, you'll see the signage change to reflect that. If you want to transition from Giant Eagle then to Kroger Supermarket, got a lot of stuff going on here when you look at what happened on that day. We're very blessed. So with the tornado, it really didn't stay down long, if you will, as it was traveling, I was told, from west to east. Usually they said that's the route of which a tornado travels, if you will. So, the aftermath. I'll look at, and I wanted to supply some video footage to go with the photographs I'm going to supply in this little short aftermath, a reflection on what happened that day. You can see what used to be the BP is now a Sunoco gas station. I see the price of gas is $3.97 to be exact. I'm looking back up towards if you will, Glenwood Avenue, where you can see some more damage that's being taken care of, mitigated, if you will, as we